Hello gamers, it has been a while, but we are back with an updated tier list for 2026. Alright, we are going to be ranking every single tier 10, talk about it, and give you my thoughts about why it is where it is at this moment in time. We're just going to go by order that they're in right now. So starting up at the TVP not really getting changed for a very, very long time. It is a very hard to play medium tank that has that 4-shot quick burst autoloader, but really low penetration on the heat as well. Gun handling, not the greatest. Also the size, pretty big. So it's like this medium combination that definitely, since tier 11, struggles a little bit more as well because of that low penetration it has on the premium ammunition. The low HP as well. So I would say that this is really just in the middle of the pack. It's neither below average or terrible or good or amazing. It's honestly just middle of the pack. Middle of the pack right now. The Kran actually got buffed since 2.0. The heat pen also going to 310 millimeters of penetration. A tank that's quite often overlooked still has its performance moments where the Kran can be really toxic, quote unquote, in the right situation still, but I think a lot of people just don't want to play it anymore because one, they remember how it was before it got nerfed, and two, they haven't really looked at it since they got buffed again with 2.0. So honestly, thinking about the Kran, I really think that with the buffs, and I played it a few times now, it's really not as bad as you may think at this moment in time. The Kran actually, in my opinion, is also just in the middle of the pack, nonetheless, because it does well in certain situations, but also does terrible in other situations. But I do believe that this is playable. The B category is also going to be like the largest category, to be honest, because a lot of tanks find themselves hovering around this middle, to be honest, in this regard, because, well, that's just kind of how it goes, right? You will have most of your tanks filling in the middle, while you have some below average, some really bad, some good, and some amazing. Talking about amazing, we're not talking about the Progetto 65. The Progetto 65 actually getting buffed in 2.0. It's hard to say where I would put it. I think this is still kind of a comfy tank for people to play with the 4 shots, 360 alpha. But I don't think the buffs are enough to really pull it out of the any category. I would almost say I'm going to put it in below average for now still, just because I really don't like the tank, and its low DPM is really, really hard to play around with. So I don't think that this buff has done enough for the Progetto in 2.0 to make it come out of the position that it found itself in, right? The next up is actually a very interesting one. The VZ55, it has gotten changed in 2.0. It kind of lost its soul because the single shot is now better than the 2-shot gun for most situations, simply because you get that extra alpha, you get the increased DPM already. You cannot mount a rammer on it, which is the downside, because it'd be truly amazing if it could that. But since it can't, the VZ55 in 2.0 reborn as a single shooter. Before it was a choice, now I've come to the conclusion that honestly just a single shot with the increased alpha is just better, is actually just like kind of comparable to a 277 with drawbacks compared to it, where both tanks are really, really, really good IMO. And the VZ55 belongs in this A category for me right now because of that. It's actually very fun to play. You should try it as well. And the beauty for me for the VZ55 is the fact that it doesn't actually have a rammer, because it allows you the golden combination almost. HP turbo stabs. It's fantastic because of it. You still get the stabilizer. We can use the experimental turbo, and you have the HP. There's no real downsides to it to have that. So the VZ55 actually a very fun tank to play now. I would sign up for that one 10 out of 10 times. Really great tank. I also have a video on it before. You can check out. Good video in my opinion. Best video even. Then moving on, the Rhinoceronte. It's a tank I hate. I don't think I will ever get to love it, but to be objective about it, I think that the Rhino is not terrible anymore, to be honest. It does still have this 3x490 alpha, so it has 1500 potential. It's gotten a few buffs now. I think it's gotten buffed twice, if I'm not mistaken. And it is for sure playable. It has its positions it can play, but it's so hard to play. It's so hard to perform it properly because of the glaring issues with it. Weak spots, even on flat ground, you're still getting pinned through the turret. Of course, the turret itself has gotten buffed, so now that when it's on hold, it's far less likely to be done. So we still have the issue that when you turn your gun a little bit to the left, you can get pinned on the inside of it. Etc. So I'd say the Rhino is a very hard tank to play. It has its niche, it has its role almost, but it's only for the more experienced player. I personally don't like it. I don't think it's a terrible performer anymore. I don't think that it is a great performer either. Therefore, a well-deserved middle of the pack for the Rhino Sorronte. Now, the 60 TP, I think this is another scenario as with the Kran. Whenever something gets nerfed, the better player base moves away from the tank altogether and moves on to its next toy. We've seen it with the Super Conqueror as well. I don't think that the 60p is terrible at all, to be honest. It still has this combination of armor, speed, and still HP that is really, really nice. Because of the slopes of the 60p, it ends up bouncing a lot of random shots. You shoot for the lower plate, you hit the belly, you bounce. You shoot for the lower plate, you hit the upper glacier, you bounce. So I think the 60p, yeah, it has gotten nerfed. I think it deserved the nerf it got. I don't think it made it terrible, though. It made it worse than what it was before. And now the game has shifted a little bit since the introduction of 2.0 as well, and people moved on to different tanks. I think the 60p is bang average at this point. It's still very casual to play. 750 alpha, very straightforward. Tap some money in the face. It's not a bad tank. It's not a great tank. Therefore, I think that the 60p deserves to be in group number B. I know, guys. I know. This B category is already expanding very, very big. Now, the Batshot 25T is, in my opinion, a good tank. The Batshot 25T has camo, has mobility, has size as its advantage, very compact, has 5 shells, autoloader, gun that is a bit iffy. That's where the downside is for the gun, I guess. Low HP as well, but the gun is the tricky part where sometimes amazing, sometimes terrible. But all in all, the Batshot has this great combination of everything, making it into some stealth medium that can still kind of brawl and flip unexpected opponents. There's not that much to be said about the Batshot. It got buffed long before 2.0 at this point, and that buff made that tank a lot better, reborn. However, downside, of course, for the Batshot is that it is a tank that mainly excels for the above average to good player, simply because the playstyle of it is very, very difficult to achieve. And therefore, I think the Batshot belongs to be in group number 8. It's, in my opinion, a very good tank, a very good medium, and a fan favorite as well, I think. I feel like I'd put it in front of a court if I didn't rank the Batshot where I did. Now, the STB1, I'm going to straight up say I despise the STB1. I would be tempted to put it into D because of my own experiences with it, but I think this tank is fake. And what I mean with fake is it has fake turret armor, it has fake DPM, it has fake everything. The DPM is amazing, but the gun is so bad that in my opinion you can't do anything with it. I've almost been tempted to drop rammer on it, and I have dropped rammer on it, which makes me really show how much I just hate this gun. And not only do I hate the gun, I also hate the siege mode of it. Very uncomfortable because the STB actually has good enough mobility that it's going in and out of siege mode all the time. It's a very uncomfortable feeling when you're playing it to have to be careful to not go out of siege, to go back into siege, to go back out of siege. It's very annoying because of that. The UDAS 1516 doesn't have any of those problems because the tank in general is not as fast, so you're way longer in that siege when playing around a position. So for me, the STB, on top of its fake armor, like the entire turret is basically shoot at it, and if you're lucky, you're going to bounce. If you're unlucky, they're going straight through the center of it. So STB1, in my opinion, horrendous tank. I'd be really tempted to put it in D, but we're going to put it in C. Below average, in my opinion. I do not like it. I don't like playing it. I don't think it's good. It's not good for me in randoms. It's not good for me in onslaught. It's not good anywhere. I am a resident STB hater. I am going to continue hating on the STB for as long as I'm alive. In my opinion, it will be in that position. Now, the Type 5 Heavy, a tank reborn in 2.0. Godzilla has gotten overbuffed, in my opinion, and not by a little bit. It now has a perfect combination of enough armor to actually bounce some shots with a humongously powerful gun, but it's 700 alpha and it's 1100 HE alpha. The Type 5 Heavy, if played correctly, is a tank that cannot lose any traits. The only downsides of it are its speed and its sheer size of it, but right now in World of Tanks, I think on tier 10 it is probably the best super heavy by some margin from the tech tree tanks, and probably even better than the VK7201K, which I think is or was the best super heavy even in the previous tier 10 tier list video. I don't even remember when I made that. But the Type 5 Heavy, overbuffed. I would not be surprised if somewhere in the near future the gun gets massacred for it being too strong. At least the HE cut its balls off, because that tank is absolutely insane at this moment in time. I think the stats also prove it, but lots of discussions about that. Many people don't agree. They're saying that the Type 5 is now only just about doing what it's supposed to do, like a true super heavy, etc. I don't know about that one. I think the Type 5 owns in tier 10, destroys tier 9, and makes tier 8s cry for their mother when it faces them. So I cannot agree on that, and I think this is definitely overperforming on all aspects and amongst all player classes. I have never seen as many 5k DPGs as I have seen with the Type 5 Heavy on any tank, which usually shows you that the tank is very, very good, because if even your average 4.5k DPG player is all of a sudden doing 5k, that's something to look out for, in my opinion. So the Type 5, S tier. At this moment in time, definite S tier. The 121. Honestly, I like this tank. It's not a 430U. It's not a 140. It's a little bit of a hybrid between like a normal medium, brawl medium. It feels a little bit of everywhere, but it has this nice alpha. I think it's 440 if I'm not mistaken, with its 340 heat as well. A turret that can work. Module issues, yes, on the 121. Still, that's the case. It does have a lot of amorite problems, fuel tank problems, but of course some gun depression problems as well. But purely fighting wise, I honestly think the 121 is a pretty good tank. As far as medium goes that are filling this brawl role, honestly the 121 is kind of solid. I really don't think this, I think it fits its role. It does what it's supposed to do, and it's doing that pretty good as well. And because of that, I would honestly, because like I'm also thinking it's a medium, I would put it in A still. It's a good tank in my opinion. The B is average, this is good, this is amazing. I think the 121 is actually a good tank that deserves its role and does well as well. And when you master the gun depression on it, actually makes you enjoy the tank. I really think this is a good tank, honestly, even with all of its downsides in it. Then of course the STRV 103B. And what it does, it's amazing, right? As far as tank destroyers go, what it does, it's amazing. Holding a position, shooting down the lane, amazing gun, amazing camo, amazing mobility. The STRV, there's not much to be said about it. Fuel tanks on the front, of course, and it's cannot really brawl, but for what it's designed, it does an extremely good job. I don't think there's too much to be said about the STRV. For this camo stealth tank destroyer, it is S tier tank in that regard. If we're just thinking about what it does, it's amazing at that, and even can brawl a little bit with HP Turbo Rammer in siege mode. So I think, you got to think of it as well. Amongst the tank destroyers, where does the STRV rank? And I think it's pretty damn high up there because of that. Then, of course, the CS63. The tech tree tank with the highest requirements for a medium tank. This tank all around is pretty amazing. It is annoying to play though. I will say it's an amazing tank, but it's annoying to play. It has great mobility. It has great auto bounce angles as well against this APCR, AP ammo as well, which makes you bounce the turret quite a lot. And it has a fine gun that will make you mold, because you will play this and you'll be like, this gun is supposed to be better than this, and just misses. But if you take in every factor, what it has, it is a very good tank, shown also by its usage in Onslaught, by its usage in Clan Wars campaigns, etc. The CS63, well deservedly, I think, is a top performing medium for the game of World of Tanks. If the gun was better, and it's classed as a sniper medium, but it's not a sniper medium, if the gun was any better, I would say that it's a phenomenal tank. But right now, we just keep it at amazing. Minotauro, it's gotten nerfed, rightfully so. It's now a tank that has kind of gotten forgotten because the only people that really played Mino were below average players almost, I think, that just wanted something dummy proof where, you know, they go in position, they sit there, pew, 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 nobody can shoot them back. Amazing. Now with the Minotauros nerfed Cupolas, the gameplay is quite a bit different, but I honestly don't think it's a bad tank still. But I think that because of this nerf and this harder to play game style, the Minotauro is an average tank. It doesn't really belong to be above that. Now we're going to get to, of course, what I think is already an interesting one. The 113. The 113 is a collector's vehicle, which means that it hasn't gotten buffed for a very, very long time. But I actually still like the 113. All right, I think that the 113 has a great combination of HP, mobility, armor usage, because you can still side scrape with it, and it has a good upper hull. And 30-40 heat. I honestly think that this is a good tank. I usually perform well in the 113. I, however, understand that many of you will be like, I hate the 113, which is fine. It does have glaring issues as well. Side strip that can be shot when it's side scraping with heat. Valley armor that can be shot at run shooting from below. But I still like this tank. I still like it, and I honestly think that it's pretty good, and it's only like a small buff away from being amazing. For me, the 113. But it's a collector's tank, so they won't do anything with it. So for me, the 113 goes into A tier, right? Because I think it has all around the perks to be a pretty potent tank, to be honest. Then UDES 1516. Now the UDES 1516 is a tier 10 Swedish medium with siege mode, and unlike the STB, it doesn't have an annoying siege mode. This siege mode, because the tank is less mobile in general, we're not really going in and out of it constantly. You're just hovering in the siege mode, which makes it a lot more comfortable to play. It's an amazing hold-on tank. Has a disastrously bad gun though. With that, I think that's fair to say in terms of like handling and accuracy on the range. But for close range engagements, for the better player, and when you can abuse those hold-ons, the UDES 1516 is an amazing tank. The only downside it has is, of course, is that its engine is at the front because it's got a backwards third. And you can be set on fire a lot. Experimental HP can, however, help you with that. I think it's almost a must on this one. UDES 1516, in my opinion, for mediums, and in general, is an S tier tank. We're also, of course, taking into consideration what class they're from, right? Like S tier for mediums, S tier for mediums, S tier for TDs, S tier for heavies. You got to think about it that way a little bit as well, right? Then, of course, I don't want to spend too much time on yapping about the light tanks, because to me, light tanks in general are not really interesting in World of Tanks at this moment in time. The MM is just not really fun on them. It's just kind of boring to play. 3 lights per side. Yeah, I don't know, not a fan. But the BZ132 has gotten buffed in 2.0. It's now a little bit more of a brawler than it is a light, which it already was before. So because of that, I think Wargaming buffed the gun on it as well, the fighting ability, and I've played it, and it's honestly not that bad. For pure scouting, it's not great because it's still as big as a truck, but it can deal damage, it can brawl out a little bit, and it has a decent gun, at the very least at this point. I think it's just bang average in B, if you're using it as a pseudo medium, pseudo light, not if you're using it as just a light. If it's just a light, it's more like below average to pretty bad. The IS-4. Now, the IS-4 is a tank that has really good armor, pretty good mobility, good HP pull as well, but a so annoying gun to play around with. The IS-4 gun makes it very frustrating to play, and I think it's what's holding it back as well from being a really, really amazing tank. But looking at just the way it plays and just the way it does, I would say that for me, the IS-4, because of how annoying it is to play with its gun, I would keep it in average. If the gun was better, really good to amazing. But the gun is just so frustrating to play with that, yeah, you're going to be bouncing and yeah, you're annoying, but it's also about being able to get the enemy back, of course, which I feel the IS-4 struggles at quite a bit in that regard. Then moving on, the WZ-5A, I've played that recently as well, and for me the WZ-5A is an annoying one. I think that this tank has a lot of stuff that makes it good and a lot of stuff that makes it bad. DPM, mobility, gun depression, alpha, heat pen, all really, really factors. But then accuracy, general kind of gun handling feeling, and armor, it doesn't feel that good on the 5A. It's peppered with these random holes and module issues. On the third as well, we're just taking random pens, and quite often when playing this tank, it just feels like the gun is kind of a struggle, to be honest, and makes you mad about it. Like, I don't know if the trade-off, and I say that quite often about the 5A, I don't know compared to like a 113 or like a VZ55, I don't know if the extra DPM and heat pen is really worth just how bad the gun feels at a lot of different moments in time. So because of that, the 5A for me, I did barely finish it with 5k recently, is in the B category. I don't think it's, I mean, you could almost put it in A, and maybe I'll revise it at the end when I'm done, because it's maybe slightly above average, to be honest. But I'm going to think about it more. It's just like, I don't really like putting it at the same place for me as the 113, because I find the 113 is better. Well, for you guys, it's probably like, I cannot believe he puts it in B while the 113 is in A. We'll think about that more often. Now, the AMX 50B, it has gotten buffed in 2.0 as well. A little bit of gun handling, if I'm not mistaken. It's an autoloader. It's a hard to play autoloader, but it has really good mobility. It has some interesting angles as well that can make you bounce. And with its 4 shots mobility, the annoying part about the 50B is just the general gun, I guess, like where the shells go, because unlike the 57, it doesn't have great DPM, so you want to make those shots happen. But I honestly think that the 50B in this day and age is still a pretty good tank. I honestly like it more than the Embatable because of the shape of the hull that you can bait shots with, and because of the turret being smaller as well. I feel like it just exposes less than an Embatable at tier 11. I would say it's in the A category, very good tank, but also only for the better or above average player, to be honest. Now we're going to get to the interesting one, the FE215B. My opinion has not really changed on the FE215B. I understand that the fire is annoying. I understand that the armor is annoying. I understand that the ammo count is annoying. But to me, the 215B is like one buff away from being ultimate heavy sniper in the game for me. Like, the 215B has such a nice gun. Just the gun alone is enough for me to enjoy the tank. Trading wise, it's amazing. If the gun would have like 440 alpha, it would be, man, the tank would be glorious. So glorious. It doesn't have that. So it does struggle a bit more now with tier 11s as well. And maybe with armor flashlight, you can say that the 215B it's a bit weaker as well because its weak points stand out more. But I'm still gonna say that for me, it's a very good tank. Honestly, the 215B, I feel like still, I feel like I already said this in the first time I made a tier list, that the 215B is the kind of tank that when you master or get better at bullet things, you start to really enjoy it. Same as the E5. E5 is an enjoyer tank. What does that mean? You need to learn how to play it, and when you do, you will start enjoying it. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes practice. For me, the 205B, still a good tank. Then we get to the Cocodrillo. I've played this a lot recently, and I can tell you, I hate this tank. It's so dummy-proof to play that it becomes kind of boring to play on in general. Like, when in hold down, they cannot pen you. If you're on flat ground, they can definitely pen you, or they can shoot your flaps on the tracks and shoot the belly armor there. For me, the Cocodrillo, bang average tank. I really don't like playing it. I don't enjoy it. The gun feels very meh and feels like a one-trick pony that performs in certain situations. I don't like it, and I will never really like playing it, I think. So because of that, buying average. Then we get to the DBV, and I'm already going to do this. The DBV is an amazing vehicle, amazing camo, amazing alpha, amazing everything, basically. It's everything the Gorilla wishes to be and everything the Hirschkäfer wanted to be. The DBV was probably a mistake to introduce as powerful as it was because of the fact that it's just an amazing tank across the board. Increased alpha, increased camo. Like, it's like they took what makes the Gorilla bad and kind of are like, here, we will make it less bad on the DBV, so it turns into a very, very powerful tank destroyer where you're probably annoyed to get hit by 800 plus quite often, and it's a very popular tank destroyer as well. I don't really play it because I don't really like TDs in general, but I will say from the TDs, it's definitely S tier nonetheless. Then the SAC. Honestly, I'm going to put the SAC straight into A, and the reason why is that the SAC is amazing at the sacking. Now, the sacking might only happen twice in 5 battles, but when it does perform, it performs so very, very well. In terms of fun factor and combat factor, the SAC is an amazing tank, honestly. Like, its damage output is kind of insane, low-key insane, with the boss in 2.0, making it to be a very, very fun light tank. And I think it's better than the VZ Light as well, more fun than the VZ Light. Therefore, it goes to 8. At purely spotting, it's not that great. It would be more like below average. But at like fun and combat factor, I think A is deserved. Then the mouse. The mouse is another interesting one because the mouse, I would say, was amazing until I started playing Type 5 Heavy. And now when I've played Type 5 Heavy, the mouse gun feels so much worse. My advice would be play the mouse, right? And then go play the Type 5, and then try to go back to the mouse. It makes it so, so hard. The armor of the mouse is totally fine for me. It is supposed to take hits and you deal them back, like blow for blow. But now with, like, for example, the Type and Tier 11, the mouse has become a bit worse at that role. So I would say from amazing, the mouse has fallen to very good. I still think the mouse is very good in, well, good to very good because of the fact that it has a lot of HP. It does really well against Tier 9s as well. It does really great against Tier 8s. Struggles more now against Tier 11s. And the gun, the 490, I would consider even, you know, making it like 520 if we're not going to nerf the Type, that is. Now, moving on. Bliska Witze. The Bliska Witze, I'm going to put it in buying average, to be honest. I find that the Gonki Witze is where it's at on the Bliska Witze line because as a Tier 9, it gets, you know, now it sees more Tier 11, so it's a bit worse than it was before. But the opponents that the Gonki is playing against are just more suitable than what the Bliska is playing against. The Bliska feels more awkward than the Gonki. Feels like it struggles harder than the Gonki. The narrow gun arc is pretty annoying. Of course, the DPM is amazing, but the module damage is very, very hard to control. And putting the tank in the right position for where it performs is just a nuisance. Playing Bliska Witze is more annoying than it is ever fun, to be honest. Narrow gun arc, hard to put in the right hold down. Module damage. Mobility is really good though, DPM is really good as well, but it's just too annoying to put it anywhere else. Then the good old reliable IS-7 actually got buffed in 2.0 as well. I got some APCR pen, I think. Maybe a reload buff as well, I'm not sure anymore. The IS-7 honestly has withstood the of time, in my opinion. The IS-7 is a very, very solid tank still, very popular as well. It does what it's supposed to do very, very well, and when played correctly can still put up some big numbers. Because of its mobility, because of its alpha, and because of its strong turn, I'd say the IS-7 is still a good tank in nowadays World of Tanks. So moving on, we've had the IS-7, now the Centurion X. The Centurion X is an amazing medium. Mobility, gun, hold on, it's got a little bit of everything. It's a great hybrid. It's really, really nice to play. It has good hash as well. Just a very fun tank. Again, the Tier 11 of introduction, the Tier 11 introduction makes it struggle a little bit more. But when you look at mediums, I think that for, you know, like general performance-wise, this is an S tier medium. Honestly, it's an S tier medium. It's not an UDAS, it's not a CS. It's a little bit of everything, but enough to make it work. Seriously, very fun tank to play as well. Across the board, very, very nice vehicle. Then, of course, we come to the Dravets, and the Dravets go straight to S tier. It's probably the most overpowered tank we currently have at tier 10 by quite a margin. Amazing mobility, amazing gun as well, if you look at how much alpha it has. Amazing armor, just across the board. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The only downsides is learning how to play it, because it does require a little bit of a finer touch than a Chieftain because of the turret roof. But outside of that, it's just so very solid. Of course, it also has the flaps. That's Wargaming's new trend, flaps that you can shoot through. But just amazing. Then Hori 3, it has gotten nerfed, but I feel like people just moved on again because it got nerfed. It was like flavor of a few months, and people just seem to have forgotten that this tank's still rocking incredible AP penetration, some really bouncy and annoying armor to play against. It's just a little bit more derpy than before. But outside of its core gameplay, nothing really has changed. The Hori 3 is still amazing because of that AP ammunition that it has with super high pen, which makes it super comfortable to play. And because of that, I would say that the Hori rightfully has slipped maybe from amazing into the good category. D92 artillery, trash. Straight up trash. Don't even want to spend too much time on it. VZTD. If you play this tank as a sniper, probably horrible. But for the more experienced player, this is the best brawling TD. Straight into S tier. It has such nice HE with 1100 alpha with like 90 pen, I think. 395mm heat pen. And when going into cooldown, the upper hull or the upper glaciers of it becomes pretty strong as well. So for brawling, the BZD, amazing tank. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And it has a nice tier 11 that comes after it as well. I think this tank is honestly phenomenal and does a very, very good job in World of Tanks. Then Type 71. The Type 71 is not a bad tank, not a great tank. I've played it a bit. The buffs were nice to it. It just feels like the ability doesn't fit on the tank. The buffs to the upper hull were really, really nice though, to be honest. And make it pretty decent to play now. The general size of it is a bit annoying though. I would say that the Type 71 is, I would put it in average, or it's good, just about good, but average. Let's put it in average. Maybe we think about it after. It's honestly pretty comfy now since that it got buffed since 2.0, but it's not a top performer at all. 261 toxic trash. BZ75. This tank sucks. It moves like a boat. It looks like a boat. It's still got millions of weak spots, module issues as well, and the gun sucks. The only reason why the BZ75 exists right now is to get to tier 11. Straight into D tier. It's honestly, I hate that tank. I think it's such a pile of trying garbage. It's great for Onslaught, for example, in a lot of maps, or competitive, but in general, it is complete and utter trash. I hate that tank. I think it's terrible. GWE 100, toxic trash. 183, honestly, I think a lot of you guys know my opinion on VTDs, and I think that they are a toxic element of the game, where on one end, the person playing it, you know, is hoping for some lucky shot, which will not happen all the time, to get a dopamine hit out of, but in return destroys the other person's game completely, which I do not like. I don't think it's a good element to have one person be super happy and the other one be super mad in return. So for me, the FV with its unreliable and unpredictable amount of damage is toxic. And I don't need to say anything about the FE 4005 because it's exactly the same thing. I think they're toxic elements to the game, and they're not even good things for that in return either. And I hope that the tier 11s of it are, yeah, non-existent. And on that note, we can just do the same thing for all of the artilleries because, well, it is just the way it is, right? All of the artilleries belong there too. And that will be that. Okay, moving on. E100. got buffed a long time ago as well. At this point in time, it is just a solid super heavy. That turret has gotten buffed enough to the point where it's not constantly an auto pen for people shooting premium ammunition at it. You can play the small gun if you want to. You can play the big gun if you want to. It's honestly like a solid tank. You need to learn how to angle it to play it well though, but it belongs in the good category. It has fine mobility, good armor, good enough gun, across the board, just very solid. BCT is also just straight into a good tank. Mobility wise is very slow, you know, it feels like a bolt, but the gun and its module damage is so high that it's pretty hard to have a bad game in it. Because of that, it straight up belongs in good because it's going to be outtrading almost everything. Anyways, then onto the E5, my beloved. E5 S tier tank. And the reason why is this tank has everything. Armor, mobility, gun, it does it all. Yes, it has a giant cupola, but once you learn how to play around that, you will be outtrading almost everybody with it. If you are a good player and you take an E5 into a 1-on-1, you're going to win against most tanks. It does pretty well in face hug as well. But yeah, great gun. Great platform as well. Just an absolutely magnificent tank. Jagdpan 3100, big gun, big alpha, pretty slow. Bang average. I mean, Jag does good sometimes. It does bad sometimes. Because of its speed and size and no turret, it's very dependent on where the game is going by itself. So that moves us on to the E50M. E50M has gotten buffed in 2.0. Belongs in the A tier category for me. It's like a hybrid medium. Kind of like the 1-2-1, but like E50M can snipe a little bit. Has good mobility. It actually has annoying armor as well to shoot at in a lot of cases. Can bounce some shots. It's a great onslaught tank as well. I think it's doing really, really well for itself these days, but the difficulty of it is that it doesn't really excel in any of those categories. It does good in a lot, but amazing in none, which makes it pretty hard to play because of that. But I think it rightfully belongs in the good category for me. Then the E4, I want to slap it straight into average. I find it still an annoying tank to play in randoms. Yeah, it has a turret. Yeah, it has 375mm of APCR, but the gun and the armor feel very lackluster still in this. Just the E4 and the low HP make it like really, really hard to play and hard to enjoy as well. 268 has gotten buffed in 2.0, and because of the buff in 2.0, no, before 2.0 even, mobility, gun handling, I don't remember exactly. It's honestly a good tank. Fiercely sniping, it's not that great, of course, but it has 395mm of heat pen. It can still snipe when it hits. It's going to pen. It has good mobility. It has good camo. It has a good profile. It can even brawl a little bit. It's honestly a very solid TD when played correctly. Nothing really dragging the 268 down at this moment in time. The reason why it's below the VCTD is because the VCTD is a better brawler than the 268, so you're going to be getting more out of it. It withstands those brawls better. T68, collector's tank, complete trash, in the bin. E3. I honestly want to say that the E3 nowadays feels below average for me. It was really, really OP at some point, mainly because of field mods as well. But nowadays, the E3 for me is like below average because it's simply too slow to fit in nowadays meta. I feel like with the E3 nowadays, you're just driving a lot and not getting to shoot too much. It makes it kind of annoying to play in the games that you are getting. Of course, in specific situations, it does extremely well. But outside of that, it's just an annoying, boring, and not particularly interesting tank to play this moment in time. Push 155, 1 out of 3 simulator. Unlike its Forge B brother, it's complete trash. Yeah, it has great pen, but it cannot hit anything. So for that, belongs in D for me. It's terrible. Pattern. Believe it or not, the pattern is actually solid. In 2.0, it has gotten buffed to the point where you don't need stabilizer anymore. So you just rock an HP turbo rammer and feels very good handling wise. Downsides of the pattern, of course, is it's not the fastest, and mainly that turret is also a little bit fake, ends up not bouncing too many shots whatsoever, and the gun is not as good as the M60, for example, with its 350 heat. keeps the pattern from being really good. But honestly, it's pretty solid as just like this hybrid medium. It's also not as good as the EX because less mobility, less hold on potential. The gun on the EX feels better as well. So taking that in consideration. Leopard 1 S tier tank, man. Great profile, great camo, great gun, great everything. Even can brawl as well because of the size and the way it peaks. It's just a very solid tank. I love it so very much. The Leopard 1 is amazing in World of Tanks. Not much to be said about it, to be honest. So moving on, hammer and feels very good handling wise. Downsides of the pattern, of course, is it's not the fastest, and mainly that turret is also a little bit fake, ends up not bouncing too many shots whatsoever, and the gun is not as good as the M60, for example, with its 350 heat. Keeps the pattern from being really good. But honestly, it's pretty solid as just like this hybrid medium. It's also not as good as the EX because less mobility, less hold on potential. The gun on the EX feels better as well. So taking that in consideration. Leopard 1 S tier tank, man. Great profile, great camo, great gun, great everything. Even can brawl as well because of the size and the way it peaks. It's just a very solid tank. I love it so very much. The Leopard 1 is amazing in World of Tanks. Not much to be said about it, to be honest. So continuing on, now we find ourselves looking at the T57 Heavy. And the T57 Heavy IMO is better than the 50B. It's an S tier tank at some kind of brawl situations, just general combat. Great DPM, great heat pen as well. Pretty bouncy tank, to be honest. The T57 bounces a lot more than you would think. Very fun to play. Very high DPG capabilities as well. It has everything. Mobility, gun handling is totally fine. Heat pen is amazing. 1600 burst and amazing DPM on top of it. In terms of autoloaders, 57 is incredible. Honestly, if you've never played it before, I feel like you should. Then there's a Chieftain from the boxes, average. That tank has a really good gun, but the platform it's on is honestly pretty disappointing, making it like not that really fun or great play whatsoever. You can have a good game because of the gun, but like in general, it's more annoying than it is fun to play for me in this regard. So honestly, average, nothing more than that. AMX30B, trash. 907, honestly, I would put this in below average these days. I'm not even joking. Simply because 320 alpha in this day and age with the gun depression that it has and the general gun handling is really not that great anymore, or not that good, to be honest. I know it's a reward tank and all, and it still has some like annoyingly bouncing armor, but playing the 907 is not fun anymore. It was at some point pretty good, but now I would say the 907 is pretty weak. But everything getting buffed but the 907 makes it pretty weak. Then Super Conqueror. I would say the Super Conqueror is kind of average these days, which comes down to the fact it got nerfed, which it deserved at that point in time. Maybe it was a bit much looking back to what has happened since with buffs and new tanks being added. But I'd say it's average. It's still pretty decent. Not bad. It has a good gun still. It can still play hold on, but it's just worse than what it was. And it doesn't really put up the numbers against these higher alpha tanks that are playing around these days. Then the M60, I would honestly say the M60 is I would rank it higher than the Patton, to be honest. I'm going to say, I don't want to say it's S, but I'm going to rank it with the Patton, I guess. But say it's better than the Patton. The gun is what makes the M60. The 350 millimeters of heat make it very good mobility as well. The turret can still bounce some shots, but a huge cupola, of course, but you don't really rely on bouncing with the M60. It's all about the gun. But I wouldn't say it's S tier either, because I don't think it's as good as an AX or an URAS, but it's still very solid, honestly. For bomb tanks, very good. Badger is the next one on the list, average. The Badger is neither great, it's not neither terrible. It does really well at what it's supposed to do, and once it's outside of that, it does really badly. For just sitting in position and shooting, Badger is great. But when you come from the Tortoise, which I haven't played it since it got butchered a little bit, the Tortoise was amazing, and the Badger following up was a different game style, a game style that I don't like. And I don't think it's like a top performer either. I think the Badger is average. It's neither great nor terrible. I would just leave it as it is. It's fine. Then the Object 140, believe it or not, going to S tier. 140 is actually amazing. It took a while to grow on me. But now I've actually come to the conclusion that this 140, I play with experimental HP, experimental turbo, and rammer. It's honestly a very, very good tank because of its very, very nice DPM. And that, of course, 340 alpha now, I think it is. It's actually such an enjoyable tank to play. Really, it has completely grown on me. It has good mobility. It has a turret that can bounce, but it's still a bit random. The upper hull on an angle bounces a decent amount as well. It's actually just a very fun tank, very good for onslaught as well. Really, really enjoying the 140 since it got buffed. But I would class it as an enjoyer tank, I guess. It's a tank you need to learn how to play. And it took me a while because I kept saying, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. And then I played it a bit, played it in onslaught, played it in randoms. I'm like, you know what? It's actually pretty good. I'm starting to like this. Then moving on, AMX M4 average. It's neither great nor terrible. Both guns are an option. The big alpha for just trading and the smaller gun for DPM, but it doesn't do anything particularly good. It doesn't do anything particularly bad. Just like the Super Conqueror, it got buffed and then nerfed quite a bit, putting it from S tier at some point back to like average or maybe even below average, but let's keep it on average for now. AMX 5105, average. It's like a mini bad shot. It's not the best light. It's not the best brawler, but it does a fine job across the board. Forge B S tier. This tank is phenomenal when it comes from the tank to shore. 6 shells, good mobility, bounces a lot as well, able to delete, good DPM, good penetration. All around really, really, really solid tank. It is a bit worse now since tier 11, but the Forge B is an amazing vehicle that walks. Honestly, you could even say it's OP. The only reason that the Forge B is not OP is because for the average player, it's too hard to play. It's such a crazy good tank, actually, the Forge B. Really, really, really nice to play. Really good for punishing mistakes as well, and especially late game, just absolutely terror. EBR, S tier light, can spot, can shoot, don't need to say much about it. Probably the most annoying light tank in the game for many people. It's fast, it's small, it takes hits to the wheels, it can spot, it can brawl, amazing. T100, it's a really good light in my opinion. At just scouting, not really at brawling, but purely scouting, very, very solid. Low profile, pretty bad gun, but it's low AP as well, but a purely light, pretty good. Gorilla, average. The bang, average tank destroyer in my opinion. It's neither great nor terrible. It's very popular, but it's very annoying to play. The gun's a bit random, and I don't like its general game style, but it's sitting in a bush, pretty good. Then Concept 5 is amazing. Just like the Leopard 1, it has an incredible gun. It's a bit worse in profile than the Leopard gun, but alpha-wise takes advantage over the Leopard 1. So you could say that the gun is even a bit better than the Leopard 1, but the other factors are a bit worse. But overall, Concept 5, so good since it got buffed. Such an enjoyable gun to play, an absolute joy. Panzer 7, bang average. Too low DPM to be anything more than that. Glaring weak spots as well, of course. A bit slow, but you know, that 560mm gun, 560 alpha gun, hits really hard. So in an engagement, it could still perform. I wouldn't say it's below average. I wouldn't say it's above average. Just pretty good. Sheridan, below average. Too big to really be anything. Has a meme factor with the HE gun, but meme factor doesn't get you anything. 4 to the U, below average. I've played this tank a decent amount. It's just annoying. The HP and armor are not enough to make it fill this hybrid brawling role that it's supposed to have. The size is more of a disadvantage than an advantage because it struggles with peeking over a lot of things where the 113 doesn't because it's taller. So being a bit taller is almost a good thing. So low profile means it has great camo, but honestly, I think it's a pretty bad tank these days. RHM Panzerwagen, I would put it into the good category. Reason why is that as a pseudo medium, like not a medium, not a line, it actually does very well. The gun is amazing. Of course, it's not that good at spotting. That's the downside. But purely damage dealing, not that bad. 268 V4, average. This has gotten nerfed. It's kind of lost its flair. It does well. It doesn't do anything too bad. Doesn't do anything too good. It still has 365mm heat pen. Can brawl a little bit, but it's more annoying to play than anything else because the gun is also still very, very random. And of course, it struggles a bit more since the introduction of tier 11. Object 705A, bang average. Reason why is the 705A does really good at what it does, just sitting in position and side scraping, but outside of that, it's kind of a pile of shit. Annoying gun. Backwards turrets are also very annoying, not really fun to play. Mivi goes into the good category. Ever since it's gotten buffed, it's actually pretty competitive and pretty comfy to play. It's not terrible. It's not super, super good, but just for those kind of positions, those plays, the Mivi does honestly very, very well. K91, believe it or not, average. I know that some eyebrows will be raised because of its DPM, but because of its backwards turrets and the way that it needs to be played, it's very annoying. The gun still feels very random, so it's 320 alpha. And honestly, I would 100% rather play a 140 every day of the week than the K91. Can opener, S tier, simply because of how amazing it is. Amazing armor, really good gun, solid to hold on, just absolutely bonkers tank that is definitely still in the OP territory in the armor department, just of how dummy proof and easy to play it really is. Then 277. Honestly, I would say this is another S tier tank because the 277 for mobile heavies is absolutely amazing. Good alpha, good heat pen. The gun struggles a little bit short, but good enough hull to side script with. Solid turret as well across the board. Very, very, very good. RS90, just a good tank. Nothing special, nothing too average. I honestly think it's toxic in certain situations, but outside of that, not that great. ST2, the gun is too annoying. Like, the armor is good and annoying to play against, but the gun is too bad to really make it excel more than the average department, to be honest. The KPZ is a solid tank. It's not amazing, but it's very, very good nonetheless. It struggles, however, in the little bit of the armor department and, of course, the heat pen, a bit lackluster. Phoenix, average. I mean, it's a toxic tank because of its clip potential, but it's just really struggles in nowadays water tanks. 780, really, really, really good. I'm actually going to put it with a 2770. Such an amazing tank, amazing alpha, amazing gun, amazing mobility, amazing armor. It's really, really solid. The only downside of it is the module issues and its low-ish pen, to be honest. MBTB, average toxic tank because of its clip potential. Doesn't really do much outside of that. ST62, average, nothing great, nothing terrible. Just doesn't really feel like a great platform. The gun is pretty meh still. You do get 900 bursts, but in general, not really great at all. Lion, similar story. Tries to be a Leo, but it's not. The gun is too annoying and too bad to really make it a top performer. This is why I would just keep it in average. I don't think it's particularly good. I don't think it's great. If I had to buy it again, I wouldn't, to be honest, in that regard. 279E, same. I think it's average these days, but it was never a great tank. You know, it was a broken tank because of its armor. The armor is still broken, but because everything else has gotten nerfed, it is more annoying to play than anything else, a trend, and doesn't really do that much in the battles anymore. But of course, when it plays the way it's supposed to, it is still has that completely annoying and stupid armor, right? E5, below average in my opinion. The fact that it has a turret does not compensate for the gun being this bad. So because of that, I'll keep it in below average, where the 268 is really good. Caro is IMO, really good tank. Solid cooldown, solid mobility, solid gun. Across the board, the Caro is actually a very solid tank. The only downside it has is DPM. If it had DPM, it'd be amazing. The amazing category. Hurricane is a CS63, so it goes with the CS3. The 452K is honestly average. It has great alpha, but the mobility and module issues that it shares, like the module issues it shares from the 780, but the armor issues where the 780 doesn't really have a lower plate, this does, and it makes the tank a lot harder to perform in, and the gun in general feels a lot worse as well. E6, honestly, below average. It only has DPM and it sucks at everything else. Like, I honestly think that is not a good tank. Chief is good tank these days. Still very, very good in hold on, but you know, it doesn't really perform up to the standards that it used to do. But purely just hold on playing, it still does a solid job in that regard. 260 S tier tank, amazing tank. Mobility, armor, gun, Performs on all fronts, just a little bit lower alpha than 277, but just amazing vehicle to play. Gun is fantastic. The tank feels fantastic handling wise. It's just a really, really solid all-around rewarding vehicle. Not much to be said about it. Doesn't really have any drawbacks except for module issues. VK7201K, S-tier tank, amazing platform for 350 millimeters of heat. The gun's a bit random, but it has 350 millimeters of heat, great HP, great mobility, workable armor for its size. It's an incredible tank that is really just able to dominate as a super heavy. Only triumphed by the Type 5 Heavy at this moment in time, in my opinion. BZ72-1, average. I don't think it's a tank that does anything too great or bad. It's like a less bad BZ75 IMO. Monkey King, that's a 1-1B, which, so the 1-1B would go into good tank, not S-tier tank. It is very solid because of its 350 millimeters of heat. The thing that keeps the 1-1B held back IMO is the gun depression and module issues as well, of course. 116F3, it's complete trash. It's horrible. It's a 1 out of 3 simulator as well. Doesn't have any good perks. Absolutely terrible tank. Manticore, don't need to say too much about it. S-tier tank, amazing at sniping, amazing at spotting, even not that bad at brawling either. Just a very, very solid tank. This is just a 5A, so we don't even need to rank it. Then 113B. Oh, okay. 114 SP, average tank. I don't particularly like it. Has good TPM, but mobility-wise and gun-wise doesn't feel that great. Module issues as well. For me, it belongs in the average category because of that. Then T22, it's trash. The gun is too bad. Wouldn't probably buff it if it was me. The armor is toxic, but the gun is so bad that it's not even worth playing. And then we are on to our last tank, actually, the Griffon. And the Griffon is actually, in my opinion, an S-tier tank. Nah, S-tier tank? Bottom S-tier tank. It is honestly very, very, very solid, in my opinion. And because of that, I think I'll move the VZ55 here as well, because the VZ55 performs really, really well these days. And I think that is it, gamers. Yeah, these are my top meta performers, I would say. These are the good ones, average, below average, and just trash. I know you will get, oh, the Vickers. The Vickers is honestly below average, in my opinion. I don't even know, I'm going to say it, maybe it's controversial, but the Vickers sucks. It doesn't feel anything near the Leo. Absolutely terrible. Hate to play it. The gun feels awful. Just even the size of it, just a horrible tank. I really, really do not like it because of that. Anyhow, gamers, I hope you've enjoyed this 1 hour of me ranting. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed this tier list. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. And I hope to see you guys all for the very next one.